So, something a bit different today, but still dealing with history. I wanted to introduce you to the Museum of Toys in Mexico City. It's El Museo del Juguete, Antiguo, Mexico. There are 1.5 million toys, memorabilia, antiques, and other objects in the five-story building, and several million other pieces in the warehouse next to the museum. To the privately owned museum begins by going up one flight of stairs to the second floor, and it costs 50 pesos. A majority of the collection is housed in one-of-a-kind cases that were created by 50-plus artists over 5 decades and are as interesting as the collections they house. And by the way, several of the objects are haunted, housed behind glass casing, and they'll be shown at the end of this video. 5% of the collection is for sale and are found on the second floor entrance and the first floor exit. I ended up purchasing a 2XL robot, same one I had when I was 8 years old. A majority of the collection comes from Mexico, the United States, Canada, Germany, and Japan. There are rooms devoted solely to the German and Japanese collections. There's absolutely a bunch of random objects that don't fit into a toy category. But those are the items that make a person feel like they've traveled back into time and are reliving a part of their past, experiencing a forgotten time in one's childhood. Now I want to talk about the individual that made this all possible. The owner of the museum is Roberto Shimizu Kaneko, whose parents immigrated from Japan to Mexico in the 1930s. Mr. Shimizu's father built and owned the museum building and several warehouses around it. The family home was located next to the back warehouse. Roberto has remained living in the area his entire lifetime and has built up the collection over 9 decades. Every item is logged and includes a drawing or photo of the object. There's a massive Barbie collection taking up 2,000 square feet. Housed here is a neat collection of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The Castle Grayskull is original, complete, and valued at $1,500 US currency. The Crystal Castle is worth thousands of dollars in US. We have the peruse shark from the Pixar 2003 movie Finding Nemo. And then we have the creepy miscellaneous Sew Your Mouth Shut collection. Original Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, body parts of the plastic and porcelain kind, action figures, display cases that have become artwork, vintage movie projectors and cinematic cameras, one-of-a-kind manual kaleidoscopes full of superhero action figures, aviation models in the Pony Express, and it couldn't be a toy museum without your Peanuts and Snoopy collection. As we continue on in the museum and go up another floor, we end up running into King Kong, or his toys and memorabilia at least. There are hundreds of objects on Kong, covering every movie ever made on the great ape, including those from the early 20th century right up to present day. The artifacts come from all over the world. The Toy Museum also houses many superhero toys and memorabilia. The Batman cycle was something I remember from my childhood. There are slot machines, electronic games and devices, fortune teller machines, and pretty much everything else you dreamed about having and getting to play with as a child. There are many sci-fi toys and subject matter throughout the 5 floors. Some are UFOs, others rockets, and a large collection of alien stone art that was purchased during the 1960s. You'll even see a Boba Fett and an R2-D2. Now, Mr. Shimizu stated that the 3 Genghis Khan dolls are some of his favorite. They are old, next to impossible to find, and of such value that he does not like to discuss the dollar signs attached to them. The doll collection covers one floor of the museum. From what I could tell, that's about 10,000 square feet. They range from early 20th century right up until 2023. I remember my sister owning several of these types in the 1980s. Now, one of the dolls is supposedly of the paranormal type and likes to move around on her own. Try to figure out which one she is, and more on her at the end of the video. As we move on, the facility houses one of the largest arcade collections I have ever seen. I even ended up purchasing 6 Atari 2600 cartridges before leaving. Artwork on the walls everywhere, giving the entire place a magical feel, especially the Harry Potter portion. The upper floor contains more than just toys. They have a pin-up model room and several areas that the museum has labeled Adults Playground. And then go figure, this spot houses those ancient alien figures that I spoke about earlier. Now, if you finish up with the 5th floor and you're still wanting more, you're in luck. There's another staircase leading upwards, and you guessed it, there's artwork everywhere to admire. And if you make it up to the roof, you get to go on it. Artists have also spent time up there putting special touches on the place. There are even 360-degree views of the entire city. Remember, however, to get there, you need to get past Marvel's Silver Surfer. Lucky for you, Galactus isn't around. So much to see and so little time to accomplish it in. Make sure to set aside several hours to be able to peruse this hidden gem in Mexico City. Finally, the haunted, the paranormal. 1. The doll in the basin tub moves on her own. 2. The Jesus, devil, and demon speak and cry. It freaks everyone out, and most of the employees refuse to go into the glass case. Finally, number 3, I hope you watch the movie Poltergeist, because that mariachi clown likes to curse, and the smell of cigarettes can often be smelled around it.